God. Christmas of 1992 wasn't too bad. I was working a decent job, had money in my pocket, and I was living life. I was placed on academic suspension following the spring semester, but in return I received a commodity I had wanted since graduating from high school: time. I now had time to figure things out, time to hang out with my friends, time to simply exist. Things were a little strained with my dad, but we were getting through it. To pass some time over Christmas break, I rented Sports Talk Football 93, starring Joe Montana and all 28 NFL teams. Gameplay for Sports Talk 93 is largely unchanged from the previous game in the series. All 28 NFL teams are represented, the players are based on their real-life counterparts, and yes, Joe Montana has come to play as well. Play options are Exhibition and League. If you choose to play an exhibition game, you can select which team is home and visitor, the weather, and the type of playing surface. Regardless of mode, you can select the quarter length, whether or not you want to listen to the play-by-play announcer, and whether or not you want to use the zoom camera while you're playing. Calling plays is almost identical to Joe Montana 2, but there are a few new tricks. First, the number of plays has been expanded. You can now adjust the personnel that line up on the offensive side of the ball, and you can now opt to throw from the shotgun formation. There is also some variety in the formations and plays available to each team. Controls on the field are the same as the previous game. Prior to the snap, tapping B button allows you to call an audible, and C button will call a cadence. If you choose to call an audible, pushing A, B, or C will select one of the 3 plays that was in your previous play selections. After the snap, B button cycles through the available receivers, A button will throw to the selected receiver, and C button will jump or dive for the catch. When running the ball, A button will stiff-arm defenders, B button will spin, and C button will dive for extra yardage. Prior to the snap on defense, A button and C button allow you to select a defensive player to control, and B button calls an audible. Similar to the offense, pushing A, B, or C will call one of the plays you had on the previous play call screen. Once the ball is snapped, B button selects the player closest to the ball, while C button will attempt to block a kick or pass. Or, if the player is close enough to the ball carrier, C button will make a diving tackle. Overall, controls for Sports Talk 93 are responsive and feel good. Players move well with good speed. There is one glaring weakness in the game, however, and that is revealed in the passing game. There is no other way to describe it other than to say that the passing game is terrible. Unless you have a quarterback like Joe Montana, Jim Kelly, or Dan Marino, you will be lucky to complete more than 30% of your passes. The only routes that seem to yield any decent results are deep vertical routes or post routes, and those only work well if you have a good wide receiver to throw to. On defense, Sports Talk 93 is solid. Playbooks offer a good selection of blitz plays, man coverage plays, and zone defenses. If you have a great defense like the Buffalo Bills, it's easy to take over a game by controlling the line of scrimmage. Gameplay is solid despite the abysmal passing game, and even that can be managed by calling the right plays for the team you are using. Visuals for Sports Talk 93 are improved over Joe Montana 2. The uniforms have a little more detail, such as stripes on the pants and logos on the helmets. Weather effects look good, and it's easy to determine what surface you are playing on, turf or grass. Player animation is smooth and the sprites move well. Colors are bright and each team looks like their real-life counterparts. Again, as in Montana 2, some variety in player body types would have been nice, but the lack of this feature isn't a deal breaker. The players still look good. The on-screen host from the halftime show of Montana 2 has been replaced by multiple stat screens while the announcer breaks down the statistics at halftime and at the end of the game, but this part of the game feels like a step back. The zoom camera makes its return to Sports Talk 93, and there are new animations for various in-game events such as first downs, penalties, sacks, safeties, and touchdowns. There are even shots of the crowd celebrating big plays by the home team. All of these help to create an authentic football atmosphere, which is impressive for a game from this generation of hardware. Sports Talk 93 gets a lot of things right, resulting in a game that is fun to play to a point, but without a decent passing engine, repetition can be an issue. Seasonal stat tracking and the ability to sign free agents would have been nice, especially when you consider Tecmo Super Bowl was starting to do some of that with an older NES game. The addition of two-player co-op opens up some new opportunities, while the ability to play a full season with playoffs and Super Bowl keeps the game exciting. All 28 NFL teams are present along with their strengths and weaknesses, which gives you a number of different ways to play. Think you can take the Browns or the Colts to the Super Bowl? Take control and see if you can make it to the big game. Need some help? Bring a friend along to give you a hand. With multiple difficulty settings and teams, Sports Talk 93 should keep you busy for a while. Sports Talk 93 has improved visuals, all 28 NFL teams, play-by-play commentary, and the ability to play full seasons including playoffs and Super Bowl. Yes, the passing game is cumbersome at best, but it's worth having in your collection if for no other reason than the co-op play. Adding a free agent feature or even an injury engine would make the experience more realistic, and would have really made Sports Talk 93 a great title. There is no denying it is a decent game with a good foundation for the future games in the series.
Yeah.